Well, good evening everybody. Now, we have already completed our bonus act students in the live session which was held on 27th. So what we have done in unit 1, we have done WC Act, that is Workmen Compensation Act. In unit 2 there were 3 acts. So in that we have done Payment of Wages Act, Bonus Act, and this is the third one. By the completion of this we will complete our 2 units, right, which will be the syllabus for your midterm examination to be held next month. However, we will not stop. After completion of this, we will move on to the third unit. So let's start with Payment of Gratuity Act 1972. So let us talk about what is gratuity. So gratuity is a kind of retirement benefit like provident fund or pension. We all know that pension is a retirement benefit given to the person or the worker, and similarly provident fund is a PF, as in short we call it as, which is also given while the person retires or superannuates from his services. So gratuity is a kind of retirement benefit like provident fund or pension. Now here I will make it very clear to you for you to understand, students. In case of government services, जैसे सरकारी नौकरी करती है इंसान 58 या 60 years में रिटायर होता है, तो उस बंदे की पेंशन लग जाती है. He gets all the amount of provident fund जो हर साल हर महीने उसके तनख्वाह से काटे जाते हैं, ठीक है. और पेमेंट ऑफ ग्रेचुटी भी उसको मिलता है. ग्रेचुटी और पीएफ ये मेन अमाउंट होता है जो रिटायरमेंट के बाद बंदे को मिलता है, अलॉन्ग विद द कंटिन्यूएशन ऑफ द पेंशन. दैट इज इन केस ऑफ गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर. सो फार योर प्राइवेट सेक्टर इज कंसर्न, there is provision for provident fund also and pension also, right? But as we know that people frequently change their jobs in case of private jobs, right? किसी ने 2 साल किया, किसी ने 5 साल किया, किसी ने 10 साल किया. But rarely it happens that somebody comes somebody works for 30-35 years in a private sector. In government sector, it is obviously nobody likes to leave a government job. But in case of private, as we know, people keep on shifting from one job to another. So the scenario in case of private jobs, in private companies, in private organization is different. So Payment of Gratuity Act, however, it is levying commonly on everybody. But in case of private sector, there is a provision that unless and until you complete a 5 years continuous service, you will not get the gratuity. You will be entitled to gratuity. This is the main thing that you have to understand, especially in private sector. Because government sector, I have already explained to you what happens. It's a retirement benefit along with PF, gratuity and pensions are paid. But for private sector, it is essential that you complete a service period of 5 years, continuous service of 5 years. Thereafter, you become entitled to get gratuity in case of a private sector company, right? So this is the principle. Now, the general principle underlying gratuity scheme is that faithful service over a long period of time, the employee is entitled to claim a certain amount as a retirement benefit. This is the you can say the ethos or the essence of this act. As a reward for your faithful service after you complete your service, because if we take it to be 58 years or 60 years, after fulfilling your faithful service of so many years, 30-35 years, you get a retirement benefit, and which is your gratuity. But as I told you that in case of private sector, the scenario is different, right? Minimum criteria of 5 years has to be completed before you move on to another job in order to get entitled for payment of gratuity. Now there are formulas to calculate gratuity also, which we will talk about later. Now thus it is caused by an employee a reward for long. It is caused by an employee's reward for a long and meritorious service. So this is a result of your, you can say, meritorious and long service, or because of that you are being rewarded with the payment of gratuity, right? We will move on to the next slide. Now the act provides for a scheme of gratuity by management of factories, mines, खदानें जो होती हैं, plantation, वो भी एक business है, oil fields. This is not part, this is ports. जहाँ shipping ports होती हैं उनकी बात है, वहाँ पे docks पे बहुत लोग काम करते हैं, railways, shops and other establishment employing 10 or more persons in the event of superannuation, retirement, resignation and death or displacement or discharge due to accident or disease. So I will explain you all of these taken together, as I already made a distinction between the government sector and the private sector. Here, if you read it, you will come to know that specifically it seems that we are talking of private sector also, right? Like different private sector factories, mines, plantations, oil fields, ports, railways is of course a government sector. So it is a mix of all these things. And others establish employing 10 or more person. As I told you that the organization might employ thousands of people, and it can be a very small organization like a small factory which is employing 10, 20 people like that. So in order to meet the criteria of this act of Gratuity Act, minimum is what? Establishing employ 10 or more persons. So 10 is the minimum strength of the persons working in an organization in order to get entitled for payment of gratuity. This is the basic that you have to return. As in case of bonus, you must be remembering, in case of factory, minimum 10 people. Similarly, in case of gratuity also, here it is mentioned that minimum 10 people should be recruited at all times. In the event of superannuation and retirement, right? This I will discuss in the live session also, students, because I want to make it clear. As of now, you just understand that superannuation and retirement are almost the same, but there is a difference which I will tell you during the live session. Then resignation. On resignation also you will get a gratuity, especially in private sector, but the criteria of minimum 5 years service should be fulfilled. Even if you resign, if you are not fulfilling, then you are not entitled to get gratuity. In case of death also, it is payable. However, in case of death, as you will see in later slides, that in case of death, minimum criteria of 5 years is not a criteria in case of death. In that case, any person who has not even completed 5 years of service, he can be paid his dues for gratuity. Or displacement. Displacement means the person has been changing job because of any reason. Displacement is a common terminology. Discharge means he was given a discharge due to accident or disease. It simply means that the person could not now perform his duties because of some disease that he has contracted or because of some accident he has been being discharged. Because जैसे किसी की तबीयत खराब हुई या उसे चोट लग गई और वो काम करने लायक नहीं रहा, तब हम उसे टर्मिनेशन नहीं बोलेंगे, तब हम बोलेंगे ही हैज बीन डिस्चार्ज ऑफ हिज सर्विसेज. डिस्प्लेसमेंट इज ऑलमोस्ट सिमिलर. जैसे मान लीजिए उसे चोट लगी, अब वो काम नहीं कर सकता जो पहले कर सकता था, बट दूसरे काम कर सकता है, तो ही इज शिफ्टेड टू सम अदर प्लेस और ही इज गिविंग एम्प्लॉयमेंट. ही हैज बीन अरेंज्ड एम्प्लॉयमेंट बिकॉज ऑफ हिज डिसेबिलिटी इन सम अदर place, but his all dues, if he has completed the minimum criteria of 5 years has completed, he will get the due of his payment of gratuity. So it can be because of superannuation or retirement, resignation or death or displacement or discharge due to accident or disease. इन सब कारणों से basically क्या हो रहा है? What is happening? The services are coming to an end, and since they are coming to an end because of any of these reasons, the person is entitled to get gratuity. This is the basic. Now, calculation of gratuity is for payment is done at the rate of 15 days salary for every completed year of service. हर एक साल जो उसने कंप्लीट किया है, तो उस एक साल के कंप्लीशन के लिए उसे 15 दिन की सैलरी मिलेगी. कहने का मतलब अगर उसने मान लीजिए 2 साल किए हैं तो उसने ही इज एंटाइटल्ड, बट मिनिमम पीरियड ऑफ 5 years शुड बी फुलफिल्ड. 5 साल से ऊपर ही मिलेगा अगर उसने कंटिन्यूअस सर्विस करी है. ठीक है, तो मान लीजिए किसी ने 6 साल उसने सर्विस करी है, तो हम कह सकते हैं अंदाजे से कि उसे कितने महीने की मिलेगी? 3 महीने की सैलरी उसको मिलेगी अगर उसने 6 साल सर्विस कंप्लीट करी है. तो सब्जेक्ट टू अ मैक्सिमम, ये लेटेस्ट अमेंडमेंट है अभी पिछले 2019 का, कि 20 लाख तक मैक्सिमम ग्रेचुटी की लिमिट करी गई. ठीक है, सब्जेक्ट टू अ मैक्सिमम. हालांकि ये पहले 2.5 लाख थी, फिर 3.5 लाख हुई, उसके बाद 10 लाख हुई. आज की डेट में ये 20 लाख मैक्सिमम ग्रेचुटी है. नाउ राइट ऑफ वर्कमैन टू क्लेम ग्रेचुटी कैन बी फोरफिटेड बाय द एम्प्लॉयर इन सर्टेन केसेस. ठीक है, वो कुछ कारण है जिसके कारण his right to claim gratuity can be forfeited. For example, he has done some loss to the organization, or he has done something against the organization, or he has been terminated on ground of indiscipline. There can be a host of many things because of which it is proven that he is not a person who is credible enough to be called a good worker or a good employee for the organization. In that case it can be forfeited also. Forfeited का मतलब होता है जब्त करना, यानी कि उसको gratuity नहीं दी जाएगी organization के द्वारा. So today's lecture we will end over here. I hope that you have got the concept of what gratuity is all about. If you have any question, please post me or you can ring me also. I will clarify. However, in the live session we will discuss at length and clarify all your doubts. Okay.